Happy lunch hour, gang. Or maybe not after you hear this video. Yeah. Anybody else on edge? I mean, worried a little bit about what the future holds? Certainly I am, okay? Again, like we talk about all the time, whether it's the economy or wars or the invasion of illegals or what idiotic thing the left is going to try to pull off today, who knows? And it comes to a point sometimes where you just got to say, oh my God, I got to walk away from this and do something else. I'm not even going to say do something you enjoy. Maybe it's even take a look at what your life trajectory is and go, okay, am I making the right decisions for what can go on? It's kind of funny because we hear all the stories over and over, how few people in this country, or in the world for that matter, do anything in regards of preparing for the future, okay? That even the tiniest little SHTF event, I got a flat tire, can completely discombobulate anybody's life. And it becomes this teeny little issue all of a sudden is a major catastrophe for them. I've been at points in my life where that's been true, and I'm sure everybody else has too. If you say you've never had a stroke of bad luck in your life, you're lying. All right. How many of y'all believe the numbers that come out of the U.S. government? You know, that you believe inflation is, 2.5%? Or that you believe, I don't know, what the unemployment numbers are, particularly, all right? Oh, unemployment's starting to tick up. We're at 4%. I believe that 0%. There was a report that came out this morning, or recently, let's put it this way, I saw the story on it this morning, by the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, all right? And again, it's another one of these that you probably never heard of, and you go look it up, and all right, this is a legitimate organization. Their report is the true rate of unemployment in the United States is 24.3%. I want you to stop and think about that for a second. That's 1 in 4 people, and this isn't including children or retirees. This is 1 in 4 people of working age are, how do you want to put it? I don't know, pick something. Prosperity challenged, okay? Functionally unemployed. Because what they went through and did, and we've all seen this happen, is the way the government counts employed people is if you have a job. How many companies have you seen that have cut back hours? Has it happened to you? That all of a sudden, all right, you were a full-time employee, we're going to cut you from 40 hours to 30 hours. Now we don't have to pay benefits to you. Okay. You see people that are working part-time jobs because they can't find a full-time job. You know, the old joke, oh, the unemployment's great. Jobs are kicking up. Everybody's getting jobs. Yeah, no kidding. I got 3 of them, right? You've heard that joke. Functionally unemployed. Yeah, technically on the government labor rolls, they have a job, but it's not enough to go forward in life, to be prosperous, to pay the bills, to do anything of the sort of having a normal life. How bad is it? Here's another study. 70% of Americans, nearly 3 in 4, say they are the most financially stressed they have ever been in their entire lives. Right? How am I going to pay the electric bill? How am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay the car payment? How am I going to pay insurance? Any of those gone down for anybody lately? Okay. This goes back to what we've been saying here, and pretty much every other channel says too: get out of debt, get out of debt, get out of debt. And yes, I understand there's people out there going, I've got a 2.2% mortgage and I can put it in, I don't know, something, the stock market or whatever it is, and I'm getting better returns. So actually I'm leveraged myself to, I'm using their money to make me more money and it helps. I get it. It works, kinda. Okay, because you look at it and go, okay, first off, if you're fortunate enough to have a very low rate mortgage or very low rate car payment, okay, maybe you can, instead of pay off the mortgage, you could use the money somewhere else until the stock market crashes or until the bond market crashes or whatever. And all of a sudden, then you're going, I got a loss in this investment. It's not paying off the loan anymore. And what I had $10,000 in is now worth $6,000. And you're going, crap, what do I do now? And you don't have the $10,000 to put toward the mortgage. I'm sorry. I will be a firm believer in get out of debt before anything else. Yeah, leverage works, sure. But again, it's on paper. And as I've said, you guys heard me a million times say, communism works on paper too. Okay. Trust me, none of us are smarter than the rest of the world combined, how the economy works. Okay, they can try to jerry-rig it all they want, but the market is going to do, the economic market, not stock, well, stock market too, but is going to do what it does. You can't control everybody else. You can only control yourself. And when 70% of us are more stressed than ever before, going, how am I going to pay the bills? That's worrisome. I can give you this. In April, okay, numbers just came out again on this. The average cost of a pound of ground beef across the United States just hit a record high of $5.80. How long ago was it that we were paying $2.99? Hell, I can remember 20 years ago buying it for 99 cents. So, okay, over the course of 20 years, the price of ground beef has gone up 500%. I'd say that's inflationary, okay? How about consumer sentiment, okay? What the optimism is for people to go to the store anymore. Oh, yeah. In April, consumer sentiment is down to 50.8%, down from 50, or I'm sorry, this is May, 50.8%, down from 52.2 in April. Oh, that's the lowest consumer sentiment has ever been, with the exception of 1 month, June of 22. Gee, we were just coming out of COVID. Okay, so people aren't optimistic whatsoever about being able to buy anything at the store. Gee, in a couple of months, it's back to school time. And people will be going, hey, you got to buy new clothes for the kids, or notebooks, or backpacks, or shoes, or whatever. Yeah, no, because there's a whole lot of people that aren't comfortable at all about their next paycheck coming in. How about what the average inflation expectation is? Okay, not the CPI numbers, not the PPI numbers, not what the government tells you, what the average American thinks inflation is going to go to by the end of the year. Last month, we thought it was going to go to 6.5%. This month, the American public thinks it's going to 7.3%. Your paycheck going up 7.3%? Even if you go on the long-term projections, what everybody figures, once Trump can undo all the Bidenflation crap, okay, which is what's causing all of this, okay? The Democrats will try to blame Trump for all of this. This is still all Bidenflation. Just making that clear, okay? Long term, the big, beautiful bill, right? Which ain't so beautiful, but it's definitely big. Hey, we're not going to worry about cutting spending. We'll just grow our way out of this. Biggest lie I've ever heard, okay? The American public thinks now that long-term inflation will stay around 4.6%. It's up from where we thought it was going to be 4.4% last year. That tells you the optimism of the American public, that they expect everything to get more expensive, except their paychecks, right? You start thinking about things getting... Look at housing, for example. Report came out this morning about housing. Housing, new housing starts, new housing sales, and existing home sales all drastically down. People can't afford to buy a house. Why? Because of high mortgage rates caused by Bidenflation, okay? Caused by money printing. Go into this big, beautiful bill. What does it have? A bunch more money printing. We can't grow our way out of this. This has to be a cut in spending somewhere. The government needs to do what the rest of us are doing. Gee, what's on sale? Gee, if I can't afford it, I don't buy it. Not the government. Hey, Jerome, start up those printing presses. You want to take a look at something that will really tell you where we're going? Look at the bond market. I will tell you right here, the bond market is going to crash, and I will give you this as a good reason. Boomers, that whole generation, all right, bought a lot of bonds. It was a good way to save for retirement. Those bonds are coming due. I mean, think of this. You could have bought 30-year bonds back in 1980. Okay, granted, those are expired, but all right, you were buying 30-year bonds, what, in 2000? 2000, right, you were getting 6% or so on long-term bonds. And inflation wasn't running that bad. Now, because yields have come way back up, you're getting 5% if you want to reinvest that money, but boomers are going, you know what? I'm retired now. I ain't buying something that's going to last me 30 years. Guess what Gen X ain't buying? Bonds. We saw that happen last week when all of a sudden, not only did China and Japan not want bonds, but nor did the American public. Well, we don't want it because A, the returns suck, okay, but B, the full faith and credit of the U.S. government isn't exactly something that gets my heart all aflutter, right? Okay. So nobody's buying bonds. And so the bond market will eventually fall apart. I'm just telling you that if you are in bonds. I can't tell you if it's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, but it's going to be soon that the bond market is going to fall apart. All right. But again, that means higher interest rates, which means harder to borrow, which means no more houses. Couple that with inflation. And I go back and I ask everybody again, are you stressed? You want to know how to relieve some of the stress? Go look at everything you have in your preps. Go look at all that food that you bought last year, 2 years ago. All that stuff in your garden, or the eggs you powdered or dehydrated or froze or whatever. And thank God you have them. Because this is going to get ugly before it gets better. That's the sentiment of everybody in the country. You could hear all the rah-rah crap from the talking heads online or the news media, the economy's getting better, or listen to the politicians going, yap, yap, what's the word of the day? Oh, on one side it's like euphoria, on the other side it's panic. I deal in reality. And While in the long term, we all hoped things would get better, but we have way too many obstructionists in Washington, Democrats, rhinos, pick one, that won't let the administration do anything they want to. All the Doge cuts. We found all this fraud. We're not going to do anything about it. So they put this big bill out there and go, hey, here's $3 trillion more in spending of money that we don't have. You wonder why you prep? Go look. Y'all know what your bills have done over the last 15, 20 years. Y'all seen what the cost of groceries is over the last 15, 20 years, right? It ain't getting better. Y'all know where your paycheck's going. Y'all know what inflation's doing. We're tightening our belts and tightening our belts and tightening our belts. There's only so far we can go. Contrary to what the Democrats believe, the entire country cannot live on food stamps. As Margaret Thatcher put it, the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. We're there.